That works too.
Alright, so whenever you guys are ready.
Oh, get this motherfucker going.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the big one, and it's not a turd or a fart. It is the 2014 Global Force Wrestling Worldwide Whatever Draft.
Woo!
Yeah! This is it.
Listen.
See, some people draft for fantasy football. I'm like, no, we're going to draft for a wrestling company. It's going to be great.
I'm excited, and people are too. They've requested this.
My goodness, Jeff Jarrett should be paying attention right now because we are about to tell him who best fits his company. I think that in 2014, we're in dire need of an alternative. TNA has obviously failed. ROH has a certain market. I think that GFW needs to be an alternative. We have to have another major company that actually makes a splash. How do you do that? You draft the right people.
Mm-hmm. That's it precisely.
Amen.
And you don't give them fat contracts where they don't want to do anything, you know.
I'm so sick of that.
Those guaranteed contracts in WCW are totally the reason it's gone. I mean, obviously Turner, not wanting to re-sign wrestling on his company and having no TV was a big reason for WCW to fall. But those guaranteed contracts took so many millions of dollars away from guys who were guaranteed through 2002 or 2003 when the company was long gone. Guys were sitting at home for 2 or 3 years getting paid to do absolutely nothing, and that's ridiculous.
Oh, wow. It is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess me and Brandon, are we just going to, be one cohesive unit, I would guess?
I guess, because I just woke up from a 2-hour nap.
That's perfect. That's all we need.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with my script and my rubric of wrestlers that I've drafted.
I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, he's going to kick our asses.
He is all over the place, really.
I am certainly ready to bring in the next generation of good wrestlers. So, Mr. Jarrett, I hope you're listening. Let me say one thing before we get kicking off into this thing real quick. Last night, I'm sure most of you know by now, the Robin Williams suicide situation. We're a wrestling podcast, and this is not a place to be discussing otherworldly issues, but I want to say, most importantly, that if you feel anybody in the world feels like their life is so bad that they need to go to that medium, that situation, please talk to someone. Talk to me personally. Find me. I will give you my number. We'll talk as long as needed. Find a family, find a friend, find faith, find whatever you need. But there's always another way. Please, find a way to cope with things. Find a person to talk to. There's always a way around suicide. Please do what's best for you in the long term. Let's get back to wrestling, folks.
Okay. That's
Very
nice.
nicely said.
I just wanted to have a second to. I know that we're a wrestling podcast. We're one unit, but I just wanted to talk about something. Sometimes things happen outside the wrestling world that us in a bubble don't always get a chance to address. And so I wanted to say to those out there that feel like they're in a bad situation, there's always somebody in a worse situation than you, and there's always a better way out. So I think that can be said.
Okay.
I guess would you like to explain how you drafted, and we'll explain how we drafted?
Absolutely. I drafted basically under the premise that WWE, TNA, and ROH were not available. They're all contracted talents, so nobody under any of those 3 brands were available. So I just drafted from the available subsections, NJPW, the current Indies, CZW, Evolve, PWG. So I basically just took a bunch of free agents that were not under contract to anybody, any major TV companies or corporations, and that's how I picked my talent.
Well, I did the opposite, but I didn't really I drafted everyone that was released from WWE that I thought would fit. And then, I guess we should say we. And then we drafted from TNA when they go out of business, or if they do, who knows. And some of Ring of Honor, too.
Wishful
because
thinking, huh?
Yeah, because to me it doesn't seem like the Ring of Honor guys are in too steady of contracts since they all seem to be vanishing. So that's kind of how we did it. And then I took some indies and international guys that I know. Now, to be honest, people, if you're listening, I have no idea who half of these guys are in Evolve, in PWG. I don't watch them. I just heard about Evolve 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm the old school kind of guy. I've seen New Japan with Masahiro Chono, Mr. Saito, all those guys. Lou Thez wrestling Masahiro Chono with Tokyo Dome. So I have no idea. The newer guys. I know some, and I've seen. I've drafted, but Mexican wise, either I really don't know. The Lucha Libre, who's around. I'm too a decade behind, but oh well, we'll get there.
Essentially, I drafted 10 guys. I counted tag teams as 1, so I cheated a little bit. But
Cheater.
I drafted 10 guys.
They never win.
I drafted 5 alternates. Eddie Guerrero says differently, sir.
Yeah. Where's Eddie now, though? Oh, sorry.
I'm sure he's going for a title up there.
I'm sure he's already won several titles up there.
Yeah. God bless him. It's all good fun. I'm excited about this.
I'll tell you what. If we have just to kick this off. Just so we get in that mood of drafting. Let's pick one guy who's dead. One guy or a girl who's dead.
Okay.
Okay. You know where I'm going with this? Just to see where we just get. Because obviously we can't pick them, but like if we could pick whoever we wanted, who would we want?
Oh, okay.
I'm taking Eddie if I can take Eddie. I mean, there's another guy that is currently not in heaven, I don't believe, that is someplace else that I would love to take as a wrestler. I'm not going to dignify by saying his name, but he's a guy that I think is one of the best pro wrestlers of all time in the history, but after what he did with Nancy and Daniel, I just think he's unpickable, so I'm not going to take Benoit.
Oh.
But I will take Guerrero.
Okay. My choice for to be the first champion of the Global Force Wrestling Federation. I completely screwed that up. Of Global Force Wrestling is Owen. I would pick Owen.
That's my second choice. Excellent, excellent. I was listing my SummerSlam top 20 matches of all time, and my number one match was the Bret Owen cage match from 1994.
But that match reduces me to the 7-year-old.
Absolute classic.
Every time.
I mean, the story's invested. The cage was used well. It's paced out. All the wrestling makes sense. There's technical. There's different styles in it. You can't script a match better than that. Bret and Owen just tore it down. Same with the WrestleMania match they had. Absolutely excellent.
Absolutely. And I just felt, I'm the younger brother, so I really felt for Owen. I'm still devastated.
And Owen, to this day, I'm going to make a bold statement here. Owen is the more well-rounded, talented brother than Bret.
Yes.
Bret may be the better overall wrestler in some ways, may have made it bigger, but I think Owen had more charisma. He's better on the mic, and he could be better in the ring.
I think he is better in the ring. Look at his stuff in Japan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mr. Chris or Mr. David?
Ooh. You want to go, Dave?
Bret Hart was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. That's all there is.
That's it, man.
Done, and done. But he's not dead.
I know. I'm just saying he's better in the ring than Owen.
That's another podcast for another time, guys.
Wow, you look. Are you really upset by that?
I'm somewhat disgruntled by your acumen as to what it is that's good in the ring.
Oh, cheapers! I mean,
Let me say this, John. I'll step in to avoid any sort of dead air awkwardness here. Bret Hart is absolutely one of the top 5 best workers of all time. Absolutely. But Owen is the most underrated worker of all time.
Yes.
Bar none, far and away. And I feel like Owen gets so little credit for the charisma that he had. Some of those matches that he had with Michaels and the stuff with Bret, and the stuff with Bulldog, the European title matches with Bulldog. So many underrated classics, whereas Bret got propelled so high because of Vince's opinion of him, whereas Owen just got so overlooked for no reason. I mean, Owen, in spades was better on the mic and was better as a character, but then you look at it in the ring, it's so close that I could give the edge to either man, but total package goes to Owen.
Wah, he was still in the shadows.
Owen did a lot of different things, as opposed to Bret was just Mr. One Note.
I mean, Bret Hart in the ring is poetry in motion, but Bret Hart on the mic is like a trip to the dentist office, man. It's like pulling teeth. Bret Hart still to this day is the most monotone mic guy I've ever heard in my life for the spot that he had. Yeah. My goodness, Bret, get some personality, my friend. No disrespect, but my goodness.
WWE almost went bankrupt with him as champion.
Well, then again, my buddy Big D, Kevin Nash, didn't do much to help that either.
You're right.
Okay. But enough about the things that are wrong with companies of the past. Let's talk about a company of the future.
Right. Oh, and Chris, your pick.
Well, just simply for marketing purposes and the reason for one of the draft picks. I picked David Hart Smith, so I would pick the British Bulldog to be his manager and tag team, and money with that. Just you can market it.
I've always been quite a fan of D.H. Smith. I think he's a really good talent and shouldn't have been let go. I think that both he and Tyson Kidd both have a world of potential for the future. Seeing the tweet, he's been tweeting Russo about how Russo killed Owen and killed the company, and he's just very poor taste in some of the stuff that he's been saying. And I feel like he challenged Russo to a match at Bound for Glory this year. Did you see this?
Is this David Hart?
David Hart challenged Vince Russo. He tweeted that, you killed WCW, you killed TNA, and you killed Owen. Now I want to wrestle you at Bound for Glory. So it's a cheap publicity stunt to try to get back in the States and get more work, and it's in such poor taste. And David Hart Smith is as talented a guy as he is in the ring, obviously needs some etiquette lessons outside the ring.
He said that, though?
Yes.
I thought that was the older brother.
No, it was David Hart Smith.
Okay, wasn't that not Smith Hart or whatever. He was saying something about Russo too.
Or was it Smith? Did I get?
I don't know. I just saw a little bit. I think it was Smith Hart.
I forget how big that family is.
There's too many.
I never can separate one from the other. If it was Smith, I apologize, David Hart. I don't mean to give any bad character references to anybody that doesn't deserve
You're
it.
on his hit list now.
It could have been Bruce Hart for all I know.
Whoever said that is completely out of line and not fair to Russo. So I apologize to whomever if I mischaracterized David. But whoever said it is completely in the wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. With that note, I believe age before beauty. So, Jason, if you'd like to go first.
The person of age and beauty will go first.
Wow.
And I have decided that in my first overall pick, I want somebody that is. I'm going to stir some things immediately because I know that a person sitting directly to my right is not somebody that is a fan of this guy. So I'm going to take somebody that is not necessarily the best on the mic.
No, I'm trying to draft with my client.
My partners are strategizing in the corner as to how to outdraft me here. But I'm going to draft my first pick being AJ Styles. I feel like AJ Styles is absolutely 100% what you want in the ring. AJ at 37 years old is having the best matches of his career. AJ is reinvigorated, lighting a fire with NJPW. AJ's not a guy that's going to sell tickets on the mic, but everything about him in the ring, his bumping, his the sweet Georgia face, everything about him is just going to be relatable to the fans. He's already known because of TNA. He's got the ROH fan base. He's now got the Japan fan base. So he's a known name. He's a good guy in the ring, and he's your top company face. He's a guy I build a company around. AJ Styles is my first pick.
Sweet Georgia face?
Yes, sweet Georgia face, meaning that he has that natural, Southern boy kind of. He has that drawl, that innocence, that sort of thing that people kind of relate to.
Okay, I was like, you said that. I'm like, huh? I'm gonna call him out on this.
Yeah,
I seriously thought it was a new finishing maneuver. I'm like, wait, what?
It is, man.
We're gonna change the Styles Clash into the sweet Georgia face.
It might as well. I mean,
Tweet me, AJ.
Oh my God.
AJ Styles is number one. He's the baby face that I build the company around.
All right, good. Mr. Chris?
Well, the babyface that we're going to build the company around to a degree is going to be Mr. Boom Boom himself, Cole Cabana. This is a guy that just it's like the Owen Hart syndrome, where he's got it, but no one wants to give it to him. He's got everything. He's the guy. This is your future here. He's still young enough where he's marketable, he's fun, he's hip. He does all the new things that people like, the tweeting, the trending, the video podcasts, all that. Or the audio podcast. So he's the guy that's, he can talk. He's got charisma. He's got like that Dusty Rhodes feel to him. And he's got like that fun. He makes wrestling fun again. And he's not doing all these ridiculous moves where you're like, all right, let's calm down. Like he does the good in-ring technical wrestling too.
Right. But
he does fun Southern style wrestling too that typical wrestling fans can go, oh yeah.
He can do the lucha. He can do the brawl.
Yeah.
The strong style. He's very good all around, but his personality and his mic skills and his popularity, as evidenced when he was NWA World Heavyweight Champion, I think goes to the show how much of a great Global Force Wrestling champion he will be. So.
Okay, I guess then we will take it to the number 2 pick.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm going to introduce the first tag team here.
Ooh.
So, of course, every company has to be well-rounded, so I'm going to draft a tag team at number 2. And I'm deciding with that to go with the absolute bar-none best tag team in the world. I'm going for the New Age Hardys. I'm going for the guys that are over. I'm going for the Young Bucks.
Oh.
I am absolutely the world's biggest fan of the Young Bucks. I think they're over as heels. I think they're cocky. Every crowd either wants to see them kill somebody with super kicks or get their butts kicked. They got over in TNA as Generation Me. They weren't given a fair shot to get a run toward the top in TNA. But I think, they're over in Japan. They've got the PWG following, so they got the indie fans on their side. They got some TV time with TNA. And I think they can put on good matches with anybody. I think they can wrestle anybody in the world. They can wrestle 2 broomsticks and have good matches with themselves. I think that anything they do turns to gold. And if there's one team in the world that I'm going to pick to build my company around as a tag team, it's going to be the Young Bucks.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, can't argue with that. You really can't.
Well, are we just going to stick with tag teams?
You guys can draft however you please.
Okay.
I just thought that having a team to represent my tag team division right off the top was a good idea.
I have a tag team here. I could mention them. I don't know if they're still a tag team, but they were. Christian York and Chase Stevens.
Okay.
I mean, they're not the most... They haven't had their shot. That's my biggest problem with them. These guys have it, but they haven't been given that chance. So that's one tag team, I guess you could per se. But I have a couple other tag teams, but just depends how I want to do it. But I have another man that I can't wait to mention his name because he's the creme de la creme. Not for wrestling wise, but just for fun. But we'll say that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You guys are in tandem?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to my number 3 guy then. It's one of the more underused guys in the history of the business, I think. I think this guy should have been world champion already. He was in the major company, and he had a shot to be the top guy, and really never got his full chance. John Morrison. I think this guy is money in the bank. I think this guy has a natural heel presence. I think the Friday Night Delight gimmick and the pretty boy thing and the rock star and the slow entrance, I think everything works for him. He's got $1 million looks. He's super athletic. He was the first guy to ever do a running shooting star press on the ground on TV. So he's got multiple styles under his belt. He obviously has Vince McMahon name value to him. He's got many runs in tag teams and in singles and successful in both ways. I feel like this guy is probably the top heel in the company. I think he has that natural face you want to punch in. I think he's underrated on the mic. He didn't really get the chance to really be on the mic the way that he should have been. He's ever evolving, and he's been doing some indie work, and he's doing really good indie work too. So I think if there's one guy I bring in as kind of the cocky athletic heel that can do things nobody else can do, to kind of opposite styles in the first main feud for the belt, I think it's John Morrison.
Wow. You know he raps?
He raps.
He raps.
John Morrison raps.
Yeah.
I'm taking back my pick, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, no, he's good. I mean, like...
It works for Cena. I guess it can work for anybody.
Oh, he's better than Cena.
I actually never heard of John Morrison rap.
Yeah, when he was on AOW, he had like this rap battle between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, like round 2, okay. And it was like it was pretty funny. It was really good.
Are we gonna actually edit this in and splice it in there? We're gonna put a John Morrison rap in between here.
Sure, why not? Yeah, we'll take like a couple of seconds.
We're gonna lose our viewers here, but all right. All 5 of you that are still out there, please pay attention to my next pick.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
I took one from TNA, Robert Roode. There's a guy that's just got it. He could be like your top heel. He's one of the major guys I think that TNA can rely on. He's a great face too, though. Like when he turns face, you're like, oh my god, the sympathy's there for him. He's got it. He's just got it, and I really think that's one guy that you can really do a lot of great things with. He's still young enough where you got time.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. If I had TNA at my disposal when I was able to pick from that locker room, he's probably the second guy that I would pick. He's probably, there are 2 guys in TNA that if I had the chance to pick from TNA's roster as well, Austin Aries and Robert Roode are my 2 guys that you have to go with. That they're guys that, I mean, are just money all around. They're great on the mic, great looks. I mean, everything about in the ring, they're great. Robert Roode is a natural-born heel. He's a veteran of the business. He's at WCW. He's been around Canada. He's been everywhere. So if I could pick him, I would. With that said, my 4th pick, I'm going with a big man because, of course, right now you got a bunch of flyers, so you need a big guy to kind of opposite that. Every company has to have the physical imposing force. So I'm taking Brian Cage. I would have taken Michael Elgin if he was available, but he's in ROH, so I decided Brian Cage is my big enforcer. I picture this guy coming in, kind of mowing through the mid-card for a few weeks, kind of bring him in for 3 months and let him kind of run down a lot of the smaller guys and kind of be a bully. He could eventually be a bodyguard for someone in this one of the smaller guys, Morrison's bodyguard or something like that. I think Brian Cage is super athletic. He's had some TNA TV time, not a whole heck of a lot, and they definitely misused him with the gut check thing. He should have won. But I think Cage is he can wrestle the power style. The guy's got $1 million body. I mean, I think he's the best built guy on the indies. He looks like a Vince guy through and through. I don't know why he's not signed. But he's very deceptively athletic. He's kind of Mike Awesome-ish in his flying around the ring. He can do rest holds. He's pretty good with submission work. Underrated for a guy his size. And I think he's just money. I think between the look and the athleticism and the diversity of matches he could have in the company, I think he's your natural big guy to run through guys.
Okay, good, excellent. The bottom one?
Yeah, you want to say that one?
Yeah. I'm going to actually do this like an actual draft. I'm going to reach for someone. I'm going to call it and say, like, he's going to come out and he's going to shock everyone. Not the shock master. I'm going to go with Ricardo Rodriguez.
Okay.
Great talent in FCW, obviously great on the mic, comfortable with announcing, comfortable with managing. Actually, he was a great manager. And once he sheds that cartoony skin, we're going to get a real interesting talent out of him. So kind of like, I don't even want to say some of these names yet. When we get to them, I'll bring Ricardo up again. But I think when we see Ricardo, not from the WWE brand, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised, and he could bring in some people.
I will say this in defense of Ricardo. I think that is a reach if there ever was one, but I think it's one that could pay off. I don't know that I'm sold on Ricardo, but I have seen some of his in-ring work when he was tagging with Samurai Del Sol. What the hell's his Kalisto in NXT. And he's definitely more athletic than I thought he was. From seeing him manage and seeing him kind of a pudgy guy, not super in shape, no special look to him, the guy can move around. So, I mean, the guy's got more there to him than they gave him a chance to be. So, you can definitely see where that leads. My sixth pick is my second and final tag team that I've decided to choose. These guys have wrestled in ROH, but they have no set contracts right now, so they are actually legal. Daniels and Kazarian. They're two guys that have a ton of TNA experience, 10 years worth of TNA experience. Daniels has been around for longer than Jesus Christ. I mean, Daniels is a guy that has been around WCW and all the indies. I mean, he's a founding father for the indies. Kazarian as well, TNA, PWG for 10 years. These guys can work any style. They've matured and become characters, even more so than wrestlers. As sound and as tactical as Daniels and Kaz are in the ring, even more so they're able to have that character, that bad influence, coming out and dressing up like famous tag teams and doing the old Stevie Richards thing, and just the vodka martinis and all the playful stuff they do. They're able to blend comedy with serious, and they're able to amalgamate and kind of mesh styles and blend in more than most other people are. They can do sort of funny, they can do serious, they can do any style of wrestling, and they match up well with anybody. I would take a bad influence versus Young Bucks feud over any two tag teams in the business right now.
Right. Actually, that's a great foil to Young Bucks, is Bad Influence. So that is a good pick. They
actually I think just wrestled either last weekend or this coming weekend. They're wrestling for the first time, and I'm looking forward to checking that out.
You're right. Precisely. So is this? You're gonna have to say it because I completely. Okay. You touched the screen. Oh, you touched his phone. I couldn't, and he highlighted it. You're gonna have to go.
Okay.
Go for it.
There's a couple other tag teams, but I took from TNA the American Wolves. I'm not really sold on their style because it gets on my nerves a little bit. Like they goofy kickboxing, we're martial artists, but we're not. Whatever. But it's two guys that have a name to a degree, and you have time to build with them. They're not older, they're just right, and you got a lot of time to work. And if they split up, you got some great singles competitors too. So it doesn't have to be like a tag team forever. So you got time with them. Time is a big thing with this new company. You need time to develop talent, to get talent, and to grow the talent, you know? Mm-hmm. You can't... I see so many companies bringing, 40, 50-year-olds, and I'm like, what are you doing in the wrong roles? So that's who I would pick. I think, got some time with them.
Yeah, that's definitely another pick that I would validate. If I had TNA, I would love to go with someone like the Wolves. They do a lot of the overstriking, the Japanese-style striking. It's heavy influence in Davies' style, which he gets a lot of crap for. But I think the Wolves are a very underrated tag team. I'm really enjoying the series they're doing with the Dudleys and the Hardys. I like seeing the future meet the present or the past, however you want to call it. But I think the Wolves are one of the world's best tag teams, and hopefully if TNA were to go under, they can find somewhere to go, because I know Davies burned a lot of bridges, but a lot of talent there. I definitely validate that one. My seventh pick of the 2014 GFW draft. Sound like Roger Goodell here. I'm going with another Vince guy that is drastically underrated. He was cut about a month or so ago, and there wasn't much ballyhoo about it. There wasn't a whole lot of talk about this guy, but he at one time was one of the potential faces of the company. He was being groomed to be the next guy. Vince endorsed him himself. Drew McIntyre is a guy that they never did much with. They never actually gave the guy a chance to get past a certain level. He was at the IC title. He had a really nice run with the belt. Vince called him the chosen one. And then he had whatever it was, green card issues, and all of a sudden he was a jobber. He was put in 3MB and he was wasted. And
whoa, back up, Monfair, because 3MB was sweet.
Okay, but they were pushed as jobbers. I mean, It was a cool gimmick, and they made the best of it because they're all talented guys, besides Jinder Mahal. But they did make the best of what they're doing. I mean, Heath Slater's still over. He was over last night. He's been winning matches now. But Drew's one of those guys, like serious British heel, angry guy. Very everything looks tight on him. All his punches, all of his strikes, everything looks crisp. His ring work is believable. Everything has ferocity to it, kind of a Benoit-ish kind of thing. I mentioned that guy again. Sorry. But he's one of those guys that makes everything look good. He has a good base in the catch as catch can, the English style, the British style. He's world traveled. He's got that television presence again. He's a guy everyone knows. And I loved when Jarrett first brought TNA in, how he brought guys like Sonny Siaki and R-Truth, and guys that were considered jobbers by Vince's world, into a mainstream spotlight and use those guys as they should have been. So taking underachievers and making them achieve something is a goal of mine in this company. Taking undercard faces and using them to their full potential is why I'm taking Drew McIntyre.
All right. Our next pick, we have a pretty long list here. Let me go through. I guess for like a cruiserweight wrestler, well, no, I'm going to go with this. Kenny King. And I'll tell you why. I love Kenny King. Kenny King, he's the king of whatever he wants to be, man. King of the night, king of the world, king of Vegas. He's great. He can go either way, cruiserweight or, I'm guessing, not heavyweight, but like middleweight type of wrestler.
He could hang.
Yeah.
He could hang in the main event picture.
He's got it, man. He's got the look. I wouldn't mind making him one of the world champions of GFW because he's got it. He's just got it.
I agree.
He's one of those people that got it, but no one knows how to use it. It's another one of those guys where they just don't push him right. And he's stuck in TNA right now with that group that's going nowhere, and Lashley's the champion, and I don't know why. Why isn't Kenny King the champion? Because that's the future, man. Lashley was the future 10 years ago almost. Kenny King's your guy. Yeah, maybe if that. I mean, Kenny King's your guy. And it shows you TNA's mistakes over and over and over again. Lashley is your champion. Mistake, mistake, mistake. Kenny King should be your champion. Why? Because he's fresh. He's something that the fans could get into. He could be a top heel. He's got the look. He's got it all. Use it. I mean, this is like watching WCW all over again. Everyone's there. Use them right. They don't know how. They have no direction or clue. And that's why my next draft pick after yours will be probably one of the biggest controversial ones, but it's fun to talk about.
Okay. Again, I definitely have to advocate Kenny King, man. This guy's one of those guys. He's been in all three companies now. He was on Tough Enough.
Okay.
In WWE, he was on Tough Enough. And people don't really remember that from Tough Enough days. Him and John Morrison were best buddies there. He went into ROH and he burned a bridge there by going to TNA. But this guy's mega athletic. He's a mini Shelton Benjamin. He's got so much Shelton quality to him. He's just everything about this guy. Different styles. He can work on any style. He's still working on it on his in his mic work and stuff like that. But he's got a presence to him. He seems like he's over with the audience. I don't know why that guy is not, a bigger name in TNA. Hopefully, working with these main event guys they have is going to be something good for him if they stick around long enough. Definitely a Kenny King fan. It's worked out well because my next pick is a cruiserweight. I decided since I have my main eventers, my big man, my tag team, I'm now going to go to a guy that is my cruiserweight kind of representative, my champion. I was going to take Andrew Everett initially. Andrew Everett's a guy that works in ROH. He did a house show in Pittsburgh here that was phenomenal. He's like a young AJ, and he was going to be my cruiserweight guy. But he tore his ACL recently. He's out for, I think, 16 more months. So if I want to start a company tomorrow, I've got to go with a guy that's healthy. So I had to scratch Everett from this spot. And I put Rich Swann in the spot.
Okay.
He's a guy that works in PWG. They call him Black Jericho. He's always called Black Jericho. He sounds like him. He's just as this little athletic black man that really has a lot of charisma. Everything he does is super high energy. He's super athletic. He's innovative. He's one of the best high flyers in the game right now. He does a standing 450 splash. He stands there in a standstill position and can do the 450 from a standing position. He's just this guy. Everything about this guy is just. He really comes across as uber charismatic, and from the entrance all the way through, he connects with the audience, whether he's a face or heel. He always gets a reaction. That's what you have to have in your company. Guys that are going to evoke the crowd, whether you're a face or heel. They got to feel the story. They have to get into the match. And Rich Swann connects with the audience like that. And as a cruiserweight champion, you want to have this division really pop out and be special because Vince McMahon doesn't use his cruiserweights that much or whatever. And TNA has lost sight of the X division. So you want your X division, your primetime division, your cruiserweights to really step out and make something different. So Rich Swann's a guy that can do things nobody else in the world can do and put on exciting spot-filled matches. So he's my guy for cruiserweights.
Excellent. I mean, that was really good.
Yeah. Well, mine's not a cruiserweight. He's not a heavyweight. He's freaking Vince Russo, and I'll tell you why.
Oh,
here's why we're bringing Russo.
Here comes the heat. Shut up and stay out of this one.
I'm telling you, Vince Russo's the guy that's just people are going to watch. They're going to wonder why he's there, what he's up to, why everyone hates him. He's going to go off, and it's going to be fun. But he's going to be like the manager heel. He's going to be there. I don't know what he's going to be, but he's going to be there.
Okay.
He's not going to.
Is he on the writing staff?
It's tough. I'm not going to give him full control at all.
Okay.
You never give anyone full control of anything.
So who's going to own the next company once Russo bombs this one?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, though, they had it right in TNA in the beginning when they brought him for Sports Entertainment Extreme. They were on the money. I love what they were doing with him because he was just crapping on it all, and it was so funny because it was true. It did look like crap. The matches didn't make sense because they were just thrown together, and he was bringing out the best in all the young talent with that Sports Entertainment Extreme. He was bringing these guys together, and it was really good. But then, like, it kind of fell through, and then it just didn't. It fell apart. Then they turned him face. But this is your controversial guy. Just, the second episode, first or second episode, he's just going to tear up whatever the intro is, and it's just going to spray paint Russo on it next week, and that's just what it's going to be. And it's going to be a half hour of him screaming, breaking cameras, and just going off on people, because people, like, the fans are just going to be like, what is this? And then you just develop into some kind of storyline, or it's just going to be fun. Vince Russo's fun, and I just want him there. He has to be there.
I mean, I feel like, and I fear like, that's a good possibility because Jarrett's running the company.
Oh, he'll be
Jarrett
there.
and Russo are best buddies. I'm not sure how that goes over with a lot of the core audience of your internet fans. I don't know how that works. But Russo is at least controversial, and he has at least a presence, and he's known, so that at least is going to garner some sort of rating.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's a dangerous kind of hit-or-miss proposition. It can either go really bad or very poorly. I wouldn't take the chance myself, but if you're going out there looking to get new viewers and make ratings, I guess there's something to be said for that.
I have the whole plan. You want to tell you the plan with him?
By all means.
I'm going to make a group called Attitude. This will be Kevin Nash, Mick Foley, maybe Steve Corino and him. And they're like, we made you. And that's how you make the new stars, because this will be the Attitude era against this new era, whatever the hell they call this. So this is what we're going to do. It's going to be Attitude. It's going to be Russo, McFoley, Nash, and somebody else. Whole new group, whole new concept. But it's off the wall. It's goofy. But they're all about network ratings and all this. And they'll be like, we were doing this while you guys were taking a poop in your pants or whatever. And it's going to be called Attitude. They're just going to be called the group Attitude. You're going to have Nash do his goofy thing and collect that paycheck. But you're going to have Russo there acting like an ass and, like, throwing the script out the window. It's just going to be Attitude, like all those guys together. It's fun because it brings back that old school era that we all can relate to and we know. But it brings them in a new light where they're not really wrestling, but they're a threat. And this is how you get the older guys over again. You don't put them in the ring and have them wrestle each other in a horrible match where they're fighting outside. They can't get in the ring and Dixie Carter's running around. No, you have them in a group and you have them there for a reason, and they're there to either ruin someone's career or company or both. But it's going to be fun along the way, because why not? Because they're Attitude.
I feel like you're going to get a lot of attitude from the internet fans.
Good, that's what they want.
That's for sure.
They should actually bring them internet fans on a pole match and see who Nash can pull down first. Whatever they want to do, I'm fine with.
Okay, my number, I don't really know how to argue that point, so I'm going to go with my next draft pick. My number 8 pick is going to be a technical guy. I feel like there's a dying art in pro wrestling, and it's called actual pro wrestling.
Amen.
I feel like, the days of the guys like the Benoits, the Malenkos, the Kurt Angles, the Jerichos.
The Bret Harts.
The Bret Harts. Thank you.
Man.
He hasn't said a word in 45 minutes, and it's Bret Hart's the first word he says.
That's great.
I feel like, the dying art of pro wrestling, the actual technical wizards that work over body parts and actually tell stories in matches and make guys sell it and make fans invested in the injuries and the actual the aspect of the old school wrestling, the Kurt Angles and those guys. I feel like there are not a lot of these guys on the indies at all. Kyle O'Reilly is a guy I put over for being that style. I think he's in ROH. I think he's a future of that kind of style, but he's unavailable for this draft. So I took a guy named Drew Gulak. He's probably the most unknown guy on my list for the masses out there. I'm sure the internet fans know who he is, but he hasn't had any big breaks yet. He's been working for CZW as a world champion. He's working for Beyond Wrestling. He's done recent work for Evolve. Finally, he's getting a chance on a bigger stage. And this guy is just, he's a good natural heel. He can also play face. He's very diverse that way. He's a guy that works the ankle, has a ton of submissions, a very wide variety, a very big depth to his character and to his ring work. And I feel like he's kind of the cornerstone of the technical wrestlers. When you put somebody in there, whether it's with the cruiserweights or with other guys that can actually work, he's a guy that's going to make your guys sell. He's going to tell a story. He can have longer matches. He has great cardio. And he's a guy that's going to actually bring back the realism and the old school feel to your matches. So Drew Gulak's my number 8 pick.
Glorious. Very good. It's a lost art, just a basic match. Okay.
I miss the days of the ROH Pure Wrestling title, man, when they had
Oh,
Danielson
my
and
God.
Nigel and the other match striker and Chad Collier and all those guys, just week after week having these classics, these back and forth Ray Gordy, Terry Gordy, those style matches, those back and forth submission for submission rope breaks like that. That Pure art is so gone now, and I wish the Pure title came back or somebody had something like it.
What happened? They just get rid of it?
They just decided that I guess it wasn't working. I mean, it was around for a long time, and I guess they had all the matches they could have out of it.
Yeah.
I guess, and decided to bring a regular TV title in for the television format. But I wish they were still around because so many guys, Doug Williams, so many guys had that great style, and they just had every night they had the best match on the card. Joe was around for it, Aries was around for it, AJ did a few of those, and those matches always stole the show because they were the ones that had the realism. They had the rope break rule, they had the working the body parts, they were slower paced, told a story. They took away a lot of the high spots that you hate, and they kind of worked a more grounded style that felt like the 80s, and that's one of the old school aspects that I miss, and wrestling misses.
Your basic wrestling, it's gone, like you said.
Okay, this guy was super over a few years ago, and he's still riding the waves of that. And you can't pick the guy he's been feuding with within the last year or so. You can't pick Steen, so you got to take this other guy, and he can do whatever you want. And we're gonna go with Super Domino. Straight out of Compton, Cliff Compton. Just entertaining guy, good on the mic, scary when he used to be. He's a very intimidating dude, but also funny.
And follows me on Twitter, actually.
Yeah, he follows me on Twitter too.
He's following everybody. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Is that him back there? Wait, hey!
I don't feel as cool anymore. He's following all of us.
Oh, no.
I feel cheated. Cut this guy.
Yeah, it's him, man.
Well, he has like 40. He follows like 40,000 people.
He's a cool dude.
He's a very cool dude, and he's very funny. I haven't watched the Wrestling Road Diaries 2 yet, but honestly, it's like you got to get like one of those guys who's one of Cabana's buddies, and not because of the fact that like if we're gonna put Cabana at the top spot, then it's not gonna be a Hogan beefcake situation. No, it's nothing like that. If he has this, for lack of a better word, menagerie around him. If he has, Jason, you winced, man. I'm sorry.
Oh,
if he hangs out with Brian and
Mike
Punk
Knox.
and I'm talking about Cabana. If he hangs out with Brian and Punk and Gallows and even Marty DeRosa, if he hangs out with all those guys, you're gonna need someone like that. And you gotta go with like our pick. There would be Domino.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything solo from Domino in a while, from Cliff Compton. I don't see a lot of his work anymore. I know that he does a lot of podcast stuff. He did do a table spot with Steen. That they did a big brawl in Pittsburgh last time.
That was cool.
Rumble weekend, and he dove off the top rope through the table, and it got over, man. I mean, their feud came off as very realistic and very heated.
It was lovely, brother.
I mean, so what I think you should do there, Cliff Compton, is unfollow everyone else but me, just so I feel special again.
Wow.
Then I'll draft you. If you don't, I'm not drafting you at all.
Oh.
So speaking of guys that are kind of controversial and have gotten over on a more national basis, my number 9 pick is Joey Ryan from PWG. He did some time in TNA. Did some time is an appropriate way to say it because, man, they didn't know how to use him at all. He lost the gut check and then came out through the crowd and instantly got over. I mean, the Sleaze character is so cool. I mean, Joey Ryan's one of the indie guys that he's a good worker, but he's a great personality. And that's the thing. I think his personality gets over. 2 things that you want to have in a company like this when you're drafting and starting over is you want to have guys that the audience knows, and you want to have guys that can connect with the audience through their characters. And Ryan has both of those. Ryan has the TNA time following. He did stuff for NXT. He was in the camp, and Bill DeMott cussed him out or whatever and kicked him out of NXT. There's a long story to that, I guess. But he said that Daniel Bryan would never be as good as he was if they didn't retrain him or something, and they're the reason Bryan got over. Bill DeMott's the reason Bryan got over.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. All right, Bill DeMott, you're on some old school WCW drugs there for sure. But no, I mean, I feel like Joey Ryan is one of those guys that has natural charisma. The Sleaze character's super over. Everything about this guy just exudes personality. He's a smaller guy, but he can really work too. He's not an indie flip guy. He's not going to just go in there and do spots. It's going to kind of cater to more to your style, your guys' style. He's going to be closer to the mat. Everything he does has impact to it. He doesn't waste motion in the ring. Everything he does goes straight for the action. And I feel like this guy is just a natural born heel. I mean, he's going to be a guy that he can even have a group on the mic. He can even get on the mic and kind of be a co-manager / co-wrestler with a bunch of other guys that have a sleaze mentality. He could bring a bunch of undercard guys up and make a little revolt out of the undercard and kind of make things happen there. So I think Ryan is a perfect company guy, a perfect utility player to put in that 9 spot.
Now, see, I like that pick for a multitude of reasons. I like that pick because first reason is that he seems like a good guy. You take the wrestling equation out of it, he just seems like a good guy. He's not. I don't think any of these guys, with the exception of Russo, is going to be a cancer in the locker room. Okay, they seem like okay, we're here. We're not backed by any huge corporation. We have the freedom to do what we want. We're finally going to be a wrestling company. Let's wrestle, and you're going to get the most out of all these guys, which is super fantastic. I completely forget my second point, but we're picking good, non-asshole guys who love wrestling, which is very important.
Whether we're in the context of this podcast or the context of life, I think it's important to see good talent that are more importantly good people move up and get work here, and to see anybody that's not only talented that can help us and our product out, but even more so, a person that deserves it, like you're saying, more to the point, a company guy, a good person. You always want to see good people get that chance. 100% agree. In life, those that are good, that put themselves as team players and put others before them, those are the guys that deserve the jobs, deserve the money, deserve the success. Yes, put good guys first. Absolutely.
Cool.
But legalize sleaze.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. My number 10 pick, my final official, pick. I have some several backups and things like that. But my final official pick, I really jostled with the last couple because there's so many good guys out there that I want to get them all jobs. Because I love the indies and there's so many talents out there that aren't seen yet or heard of. But my number 10 pick is another guy that can be paired with Ryan that has been in the past. I mentioned him already, Matt Morgan.
Okay.
I think that he's not only is he another big man, and he's more of a traditional big man. He's not going to fly around like cages. He's not super athletic in that way. But he is very charismatic. I see a lot of Kevin Nash and Matt Morgan in the good traits. I see a lot of the smug heel or the confident face. Either way it goes. I see a lot of Kevin Nash and Morgan in his mannerisms. Pardon me. He reminds me of a Taker a lot in the fact that he's more athletic than you think he is when you see him at first glance. Still got $1 million body. He's got WWE pass. He's got a TNA pass. He has an American Gladiators pass. So he has different audiences to work with to get himself over. He already has the connection with Ryan, so that's a natural fit there and a continued gimmick. And just having the elevator and having the genetic freak and all that stuff, or genetic jackhand, whatever the hell he's called.
Genetic blueprint? The
blueprint, yeah. There's another genetic term, too, that he uses. He has like 5 or 6 nicknames. But he has the look that you're looking for. He's athletic enough. He can put on good matches. And he's got that natural rapport with the audience already that you either love the guy or you hate him whenever he's playing that month. He's good at his character and he's grounded. So I think he's another guy you got to put in there.
How old is Matt Morgan?
Man, you naturally would think that he's older because he's been around for so long now with different companies and things, but he started so young. He was on Tough Enough in, I think, season 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. He started, I think, at 20 years old when he started, so maybe he's only 32, 33 now?
Because I was thinking about it, like, when he gets older and he needs to slow down, if he's not injured, he'll probably still, be that mentor to the younger guys, and he can still be that good ring general.
Yeah, and for being still pretty young, I mean, you guys can correct us if you want to look it up and tell us about it online, but I feel like he's one of those guys that... He's still younger than you think he is. He's a young veteran. He's been through a lot of locker rooms and a lot of big stuff. And when he had the chances to rise up, he was saddled with the Hogan thing for a while, and that actually worked. And he was they did the Kurt Angle Bound for Glory matches. That was really good matches. I mean, he had that match with Kurt Angle at Bound for Glory, and they stole the show that night. I mean, for a guy that's kind of just a traditional big man, he can really put on solid matches, and he has a lot of charisma. I think he's a guy you can tap into and get more out of.
Okay, excellent.
I guess for 9 and 10, Amazing Red and Harry Smith. That's our cruiserweight.
Little louder.
Oh, sorry. Harry Smith and Amazing Red. Amazing Red would be our cruiserweight guy. One of them. I have a whole bunch. And then Harry Smith will be just, another heavyweight guy. He's something. He's got it. Just hasn't had that shot. A lot of these people just haven't had a chance. I mean, everything's cut too short, or things don't happen. Promotions fold. But those are like the not really like our top 10, but just 10 that we can kind of that you either haven't taken yet or we can compare to.
Right. I will say this. I was always a huge Red mark. I've always loved Red, man. For whatever. I mean, he was like the more athletic version of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he can go, man.
He's that young little underdog guy that everyone wants to cheer for. I mean, you got Dawn West on the announce table yelling, "Go Red, go!" Every single week, Red and Low-Key and those guys putting on great matches. I mean, Amazing Red is an underrated guy.
Oh man, West. I miss Don West.
Don West had his moments. I mean, he during those original days, I liked him more than the internet did. The internet didn't really like him or care for him because he wasn't a traditional wrestling guy. He was a baseball card slinger. But the guy is super. He was, his personality made you invest a little bit. Right. His scream made you get into it.
What I liked about Wes is that because he wasn't the wrestling guy and he was new to this essentially, and he's watching it. It's weird that he's calling it, but he's like he's just as excited. Like a lot of this stuff he's seeing for the first time, and that's like really refreshing.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, early TNA days, there were a couple of guys that were every single week doing stuff you had never seen before because ROH wasn't a national platform yet, and WWE was all we had for several years. And so the X Division guys were breaking out stuff every single week that was brand new to the world. You were taking these athletic guys in these athletic sequences and putting them on a national platform. And Styles and Red and Key and Lynn and the Flying Elvises with Yang and those every single week just absolutely stealing the show. And Red's one of those guys, like I said, naturally a small guy that is the quintessential underdog, the guy that gets his butt kicked better than anybody else, and you want to see him come back and hit some crazy moves. And he always could take a beating and keep on going, like a smaller Shawn Michaels in a way. And, Red's just one of those guys that I always hope for more. I mean, he was TNA Tag Champ a few times. He had a few X Division title runs. But I always wanted to see him stick around, whether he got injured or whether he was not a consistent Wednesday guy. He'd come and go. But I always wished he was around more. And the only reason I didn't pick him, I considered him, but I didn't pick him because I'm just not sure with his body. I know that he trains at House of Glory, HOG, I think out of New York or Ohio. I'm not sure which. I'm sorry, Red. I don't know which one he works for now. But I know it's House of Glory that he trains at. I know that he still battles injury and stuff like that. Apparently, Red and AJ just faced the Young Bucks a few weeks back in HOG, and I want to check that out.
That'd be cool.
I'm sure it
That'd
was
be
awesome.
really cool.
But he's one of those guys that if I knew that he was healthy and available, I would love that guy. I'd work with him anytime. So I guess we'll go into some alternates. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys have anything written down for announcers, but you guys mentioned announcers.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I got our team.
So I guess since my pick is up, I guess I'm going to go for my announce team, which I just wrote down sitting here that they discussed announcers, and I figured I have no announcers drafted yet, so I'm going to draft some. So I would take two guys that recently got cut by Vince, which he made big mistakes on because these two guys are a heck of a lot better than JBL, Cole, and King. They're a lot more.
Actually, I like JBL. JBL isn't paired correctly, but
JBL is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant outside of wrestling also.
Yeah,
which doesn't hurt any.
Fox News contributor. What?
That's true. JBL is somebody that does study the stocks and is a highly intelligent man. But as a commentator, I hear his voice, Michael Cole, Michael. I kind of want to jump off a building when I hear him talk sometimes, and I feel like some of their stuff back and forth is just, oh my god, it's like drilling a hole in my head. But I would take, personally, Josh Matthews and Matt Stryker. I think Matt Stryker is criminally underrated as a commentator. I thought his stuff was the best when he was doing stuff for, was it Superstars or NXT? He would always bring up the history of the cities. He was a student of the game. He absolutely loves wrestling. He knows everything about it inside out. The guy is a manuscript, an encyclopedia of facts. He always gets invested in the guy's past and the guy's indie career. He knows everything about everybody. He's just absolutely a person that not only gets immersed in the product and excited about it, but he can give you all the historical context. He can educate the younger fans. And Josh Matthews was a guy, too, a good natural voice. Already has the tough enough following and was always well liked and respected by people.
Right.
Like I said, he's got a great lead guy voice. He plays well with Stryker off each other when they were together as a team. And I think if I had any two guys in the world, even guys that are employed by Vince, anybody, I would take these two guys over anybody else.
Hands down.
Honestly, Stryker was awesome even when he was doing interviews for Vince. His ringside commentary I always found was not lacking in any way.
Yeah.
More than competent, actually. I would say that's an excellent, phenomenal choice. Even I'd Stryker at ringside is.
I was going for Bret Hart for a while there, but I decided.
Oh, were you now? Okay, well, Bret Hart at ringside wasn't all that great ever that I can remember, so...
This is true. Yeah, I think Matthews and Stryker probably, I mean, again, if I could line up anybody from any of the companies and I had any choices, I think I'd go with these two guys.
That's really, yeah. Yeah, I think I would too.
Is there anybody else, Dave, that you would line up with Stryker to make a team with? Is there anybody else that you think that stands out to you? Even anybody in the major companies? Would it be JBL or?
See, I've seen Stryker do heel announcing, and I've seen him do face announcing too. So I'm not sure who to pair him up with because I think he was equally competent at both of those. I don't know which side to choose on that. Stryker JBL probably wouldn't be that bad. Stryker did pretty good as a face announcer. I could see Stryker and Lawler, Stryker and the King doing okay also.
My big concern about putting Stryker with higher, like with JBL and the King, is that one would be more overpowering than the other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like JBL would steal the show and King would steal the show probably. So how could you balance that out?
Believe
Tell
it
the
or
King to
not,
shut up.
I could see Michael Cole and Stryker doing well together.
Yeah, Cole's not bad.
As a heel, as the manager of Raw reading from the laptop, which was a bit of a shtick, but honestly, he made it work. So
Yeah,
whatever.
It's like you wanted to see Cole get it.
Yeah.
Cole did his job. You
He
hated
did
Cole.
it really well. Yeah, so I could see.
I
Stryker
still hate
and
Cole, so I guess he's doing a good job. Yeah.
I could definitely see Stryker and Cole at ringside selling.
I do
a
think
whole
this.
lot.
I do think Stryker makes anybody better. I think any of those pairings by themselves, I think, are horrid. But if you put Stryker with any of those guys, instantly they get better. You know, anyone with the knowledge and passion that Stryker has makes the commentary team go a lot smoother.
I wouldn't put Stryker with JR though. I certainly wouldn't do that. No, I think Stryker's better at play-by-play than you wouldn't need JR. I'm not saying he's better than JR. I'm saying it would be. It's two of the same thing. I don't know why you would do that. I would go with Stryker and then.
You
somebody
need a
else.
play-by-play and a color.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a former wrestler would be a really good color,
Yeah.
obviously.
And you know what? In hearing you say that, I would amend my pick.
Ooh.
You know, I'm such a JR fan, and I forgot that he was out there. You know, he just got released by Vince officially out of contract a few days ago. I'm going to stick with what I have here, but man, having that back over again. Sorry, JR. I love barbecue sauce, man. I mean, I feel like if I had a chance to get JR, my God, that guy's a legend. He is the voice of our generation, commentary-wise. I'd stick with the younger guys. Stick with Stryker and Matthews. They deserve a shot. JR's had plenty of moments in the sun. He's going to be successful doing he does comedy now, stand-up and stuff like that, and he's going to have money and marketability forever. So I'd give the young guys the shot, but man, JR, such respect.
Right.
Well, our draft's a little different. I picked for play-by-play two guys and then a caller. David Marquez from Pro Wrestling Hollywood. I really like his voice, his style. It's good. Our friend Eric Santa Maria, he worked for Ring of Honor. He's awesome. Yeah. He's got a good play-by-play
Shameless
too.
plug. Listen to the previous podcast by Eric Santa Maria to hear his voice.
I'm telling you, man, you can listen up. He's a great guy. So those are two. Color commentary. There's a couple. You can pretty much almost get anybody for color commentary, any heel wrestler. But I think Steve Corino would be good. I think Kevin Nash would be good. Or I would like to maybe even possibly have Jim Cornette on color. But it depends because he
dangerous.
can go. Well, he can go either way.
Cornette with a live mic is really dangerous.
It's fun. And then because he could
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. I mean, he
You
could
know
do
what?
color too.
Kevin Nash, though, I used to always love the NWO shtick when he would do
He's
commentary.
good. He's good on commentary.
He would do a bunch of inside jokes that only I understood, but he's hilarious. Kevin Nash is a
great.
personable guy. Carino does do commentary on ROH. And
he's good too. So there's
you know
two
who else
guys.
I think is underrated that we haven't mentioned that I think would be good on commentary is Raven. I think Raven's got a natural voice, and I think he has a knowledge for the business, and I think he would come across pretty well.
That'd be so weird. Some guy named Raven sitting behind a.
Right, well, he'd probably go with
table
Scotty
with
the
a
Body or
microphone.
something. He could use
Scotty the Body, man.
Like
Right.
that. I admittedly have not heard the NWA Hollywood guy.
Dave Marquez, yeah,
Dave
he's very
Marquez.
good. He was with the NWA.
I actually have never heard him commentate, so I have to check it out.
He's good, yeah. When they were with he was on the Colors Network, I believe, for a little bit. He was pretty good on there. But he's like Pro Wrestling Hollywood. They have like NWA. They were an NWA affiliate, but I think they broke off. He's good. And then for the ring announcer, I picked Gary Michael Capetta just because he's old school and he's got that. He hasn't been around in a while. He was in Lucha Libre USA for a little bit, but he's someone that you could bring back and it'd be new again. And he's not that old, so it's good enough. So that's the group there. But there's so many different ways and angles I book things. I booked other people, and there's reasons why I brought them in. I have like a list of 40 guys almost. there's a lot, and there's reasons why I brought people in, but I did one thing to kind of make an old stick at the NWA for not changing. I brought in Rob Conway, the current champion, Adam Pearce, Colt Cabana, and I believe, I don't know if anybody else is a former NWA champion, but I was going to do like some kind of fatal four-way to stick it to the NWA and say, well, you're not going to change, so we're going to take your talent and prove who's our real NWA champion.
Okay.
Or something like that. But
That's a great idea, actually.
yeah, so I'd stick at the NWA because they won't change. I brought a guy named Alcatraz in because he's wild and crazy like Abyss, but he's like a prisoner.
Yeah.
He's cool. I mean, there's a lot of people. The Von Erichs is a tag team I brought in because they're the future. Relic I brought in because, that's Johnny.
Stamboli.
He's got a great look. James Mitchell, what a great heel.
Yes, that guy's money.
Wacko, yeah. I put him instantly with Samuel Shaw as his manager, as his estranged uncle or something. I just brought in all kinds of people. I got a list. Do you want to read the whole list, or should we
By all means. One thing I would say, if I
Yeah.
had an announcer or a guy that's doing ring announcing, I would take Steven DeAngelis from ECW.
Okay, yeah. That's another good voice.
That's the one guy out there that I can think of that is a known guy that has a good voice, that is already has a following to him, and I think he puts energy behind his stuff too. If you just kind of wanted to read over your list and kind of...
Actually, I want to throw out these two names for backstage guys. First guy is Marty DeRosa, because I'd like to see what he would do. I don't want to say legitimately, but let him stretch his wings.
Yeah.
Someone who loves wrestling. I think is the theme here of this Global Force Wrestling draft.
Yeah.
So let's see what Marty DeRosa would do, and I'm not sure if the second guy will take the job, but let's see if he would, and let's see what kind of a job he would do. Sean Oliver from Kayfabe Commentaries, just to see, because he already has that rapport with some people.
Yeah.
He's already a good interviewer.
Respected, good voice.
Right. I mean, let's just see what would happen. He doesn't have to sign anything, but I think a tryout would be warranted there.
Yeah, definitely good.
Yeah.
Both ways. I mean, guys that are passionate, guys that already have rapport in the business, might as well keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you wanted to read
Okay.
the remains of your list and kind of give some reasoning, or
Jim Cornette, maybe Booker, maybe...
so you're gonna have Cornette and Russo working together.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a great feud. We're going to make money off it. That's what we're going to do.
Or
Because
we're gonna get dead bodies off it.
hey, either way,
Yeah, that's fine.
Cornette's plan against Russo's New Yorkers, whatever you want to do. Attitude against old school, whatever you want
I
to do.
got 3 words for you. Red equals green.
Exactly. Those two are money. They can work off their
Controversy
internet
creates
fame.
cash.
Yeah.
That's right. They can work off their internet fame. They can do all that. There's so many. They can have a whole pay-per-view, Russo versus Cornette. Who's going to book
to
a...
see that? Shoot, make it a shoot.
Yeah, who's gonna book a better pay-per-view? They book their top 4 matches. Each guy books a match. The fans vote who likes the best, and whoever loses gets DDT.
Shit.
I mean, you
Yeah,
have the
that'd
internet
be
fans.
sweet.
It's the internet. They should do the iPay-per-view, iVote, or something like that. And you just book those two. Those two are money. No one knows how to use them. I'll run the damn promotion. We can make money, guys. We'll make money. Money,
I
money,
can just
money.
see
A best of
Cornette
7
turning blue.
series. Who
Yeah.
could book it
I can
better?
just see Cornette's blood pressure going 300 something.
Yeah,
My
man.
goodness.
Adam Pearce, because he does a lot of behind-the-scenes things, but he's
Yeah.
still a good hand. The Bullet Club. I don't know about AJ Styles. I'm not sold on the guy. I'm not. I'm sorry.
My
You-
first draft pick, AJ Styles.
Yeah, I don't know. Doug Williams, because he's a good wrestler and he's another trainer potential
Great
guy.
wrestler.
Shelton Benjamin.
He's my alternate.
Got one guy you never heard of, Alex Hammerstone. I've seen him a lot on the internet. This guy suplexes like nobody I've ever seen. He's great.
Is he a British guy?
No, American. He's like 23. He's
What
young.
company does he work out of?
Just indie promotions. I'm not 100% sure like what the exact. I think it's NWA stuff.
Okay.
Gotta get back to you on that. Magnus and Braun, because you got time with them. Sam Shaw, Too Cold Scorpio, another good potential trainer / wrestler /
He'd
something.
be a great trainer. I'm not sure if he's still in the ring able to do all the stuff that he once did, but he'd be a great trainer.
Decent amount. I mentioned Nash and Foley just because they can go in different directions, they can train, and they can do all that too. Not necessarily wrestlers. Drew McIntyre, Brodus Clay, that's your big guy. I'd have him be some kind of like Street Fighter guy. I see him as that big Street Fighter guy, that makeup and all that.
Okay.
That one big blob guy, whatever. Austin Aries.
You mean E Honda?
Yeah, he looks like that.
Okay.
I would make him some kind of weird like Street Fighter, street punk, thug kind of guy. I don't know. Austin Aries, Big Vito, because he's a good trainer. Tommaso Ciampa, Mike Bennett, Prince Nana, great. antagonist. There's also another guy online I saw called the Toshinani Prince. I'm like, there's a good guy to manage right there, that African lineage. Joey Ryan, CM Punk, Morrison.
Never ever will you get CM Punk.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
Never, ever,
that's why I
ever.
didn't book him. Trust me, that's why I don't think if I could get him.
I picked Alex Wright as a trainer and sort of part-time
That's
wrestler.
Wonder King.
Disco Inferno just for fun. He's great, and he could be a booker too. He's got some decent ideas. The guy's smart. Lance Storm, probably for trainer. Once in a while,
Great
come
trainer,
back.
Great trainer.
Eric Carter III, or Ethan Carter III. You got some time with him. Ricky Morton and Tom Brady and Bill Anderson could all be trainers. They're all great talents. Bill Anderson wrestled for the LA Sports Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He's older, 80s wrestler, but great hand. Scott D'Amore is just kind of like the road agent kind of guy, too. Facade, he's like an indie guy. He's pretty good.
He's local, too.
Yeah. Steve Carino for like another agent. He's your hand in the ring. And Matt Taven.
Matt Taven's a guy very underrated, too. I mean, I didn't take him because of ROH, but he's a guy that he has the future written all over him.
Yeah, so I mean that's just a mere, not even the whole potential roster. There's more guys out there I got to find, but I mean Japanese wrestling wise, I couldn't really find anybody that I could even pronounce their names or even know who to start with. There needs to be a giant too, but I don't know who that would be because I wouldn't want to bring in Kali, and I wouldn't want to,
That's a company killer right there.
Yeah, maybe Matt Morgan. I like Mark Jindrak too. He was a good wrestler. But
I think he's doing like a fire station or something. I think he was a fire
Mark
station.
Jindrak?
Yeah.
I think he's wrestling for Mexico still
Oh, is
too.
he
He
still
wrestled for
working,
like
too?
yeah.
I think he's doing a side job also.
He might be. He's making good money in Mexico, so God bless him. Mexican wrestler wise, I couldn't really find anybody that I knew. I've heard of Blue Demon Jr., but I don't know if he's that good. I don't think. I mean, he's the 4 NWA champion, but that don't mean anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as my alternates, I have just a couple guys. Johnny Gargano was a guy I want to make on the main list. That guy is just money. I mean, that guy is was putting on matches for the last year and a half as world champion for Dragon Gate USA, and his matches with that and Evolve, he's been stealing the show week after week. That guy's super underrated. Character wise, he just has to work more. His promos get better and better each week, but he's still trying to get there. I think he's super talented. Ricochet is a cruiserweight guy that is the current Dragon Gate champion. Who's just he's probably the most athletic wrestler in the world right now, bar none. He's got to be on there. Shelton Benjamin's a guy, a super athletic, name value. Has been with Vince. Should have been world champion there at some point. Candice LeRae, the best female on the planet. Follow me on Twitter, Candice. I'm tweeting you all the time. I don't get a response. I'll send you flowers or something if you want. But geez, Candice LeRae, just so talented. I mean, if there's ever a girl that can hang with the guys that's just super athletic and just has passion for the business, can bump her butt off, take a beating like nobody else. Candice LeRae is so good at it. And Andrew Everett I put down as an alternate, even though I said that the injury is what sidetracks him. Once he's healthy, he's going to be the future of cruiserweights in this business. So I think he's a guy you got to draft as well. And again, like if I could have a backstage crew, I know that JR and Foley and a couple of those guys are free. Those are character guys you want in the back. Respected guys that have a passion and a connection and a lineage and are just well-known, well-respected, and can deal with talent relations and stuff like that. Bring guys like JR and Foley in.
I want Dutch Mantel, but he's that Zeb
Yeah,
Colter guy.
Dutch and Paul Heyman are guys that you really want to look at for mic work and for booking purposes. As long as if you give Paul Heyman the book and pull the money away from Paul Heyman, someone else can manage the finances and Paul can manage the talent. I think your company is gold. I think TNA should have sold the damn company to Heyman.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that or just let Jarrett buy it. I mean, that would have been simple. Dixie Carter's no business being anywhere near the professional wrestling.
She shouldn't be near a yogurt shop.
Yeah.
Heyman's awesome at the mic too. I would actually say Foley is an awesome choice for backstage. And the person I'd actually like to see probably in another 5 or 10 years because his career isn't to that point yet. Kane, Glenn Jacobs. I think he has a whole lot of potential. I'd actually love to see how he does on the mic even. But as a trainer, I think big guy can do a whole lot agility-wise. I think, honestly, he could teach that to some of the bigger guys. It might help a lot in terms of technical wrestling as well as high-flying maneuvers, too.
And about a month ago, he actually just opened his own real estate company.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
highly intelligent and has background in a lot of things. I think he worked on a law degree at one point. He's got a real estate thing going. He has like tons of other aspirations and JBL type stuff like that too.
He
Highly
occasionally-
intelligent, very respected.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guy's brilliant. I've read some of the stuff that he's written on the internet
Yeah.
about politics or whatever, and yeah, he's a brilliant guy too. Economically, he knows what's going on.
And is definitely a Hall of Famer. I mean, very soon. As soon as he decides to retire, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the guy's been around for 20-some years. Definitely defying odds and
He
putting
was
on
the
matches.
fake Kane. He was the fake Kane.
The
He
fake
was.
Kane. I think he was the real Kane, actually.
Yeah,
The
but
mask
he was the
is
fake
everybody.
Diesel too.
Yeah.
He was fake Diesel. He was Isaac Yankem DDS.
Yeah, he was a lot of different.
And then he's been
Unabomber,
around.
I think.
Then he's been corporate Kane / Kane for the last 20 years. So yeah, Kane's definitely a Hall of Famer and highly intelligent, and is a credit to anybody in the business. So I think he'd be an excellent guy to train some of these younger guys, the big guys that have that style. I think Kane's a ring general. He's not exactly Mr. Technical Worker in the world, but for a guy his size, he has longevity. He's respected, and I think he's a credit to any backstage, for sure.
Well, I'm gonna go with something a little different. I realize who you should say Candice
Candice
LeRae. We completely neglected a women's division, and I think like 15 years ago we would have been like, yeah, whatever. But I think now the talent in women's wrestling is vastly superior to what it was. So I think I'd like to give these ladies a shot or a chance again to spread their wings. Don't giggle.
Okay.
I said spread their wings, Chris.
I
What's
say
the
that.
matter with you? I said spread their wings. In no particular order. Leva Bates, Portia Perez, Shelly Martinez, Haley Hatred, Beth Phoenix, Taylor Wilde, Hamada, Awesome Kong, Cheerleader Melissa, and Allison Kay. And the only thing I would do to change that list is I think, doesn't Allison Kay wield a machete in AIW?
I think so. I think you're.
Okay, either use the fucking machete or ditch it.
I don't think you should use it.
So ditch it.
I don't know if that's going to be good for your talent.
It's the same thing as that Tiger Ali Singh would do. He hit the people with his handle of the sword. That's so anticlimactic.
Oh yeah, like you have a sword.
Bump! Just bump. That's an inside joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a ton of current women's talent that a lot of those are very, very, very good picks. If I were to start a division, I mean, I'm going mostly where you're going.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the ones that I'm conditioned to are the ones that are kind of a little older now. The ones back in the Trish Lita surplus. The ones like Victoria that can still work. Like Mickey
okay,
James.
bring her in.
Mickey
Whatever
James that
happened
can
to
still
Karma,
work.
by the way?
Awesome Karma, she got pregnant.
Okay, I remember now. Okay, I didn't realize her name was...
She was over. They were actually...
Yeah, I remember.
She got fired when she was pregnant, and then they were chanting "We want Karma" for like 3 months after that.
Yeah.
She's somebody you'd have to. She's top of the list. Victoria, Molly Holly, if she still works, I know she's highly intelligent and does business stuff as well. And Molly Holly was always a huge fan of her. Mickey James is very underrated as well. I don't know why she's not working for somebody right now. Good lord. Like I said,
I think she wants to sing.
Yeah.
And do like this faux country thing, which I don't really think she is, but like, whatever. You got to make that money somehow.
Yeah. Tracy Brooks is somebody. I don't know if she's still working, but she should be.
Mm-hmm.
She's good. Trying to think of some other ones. A lot of them kind of are kind of already been in the business and kind of gotten out at some point.
Yeah.
I know like Lita's retired. Trish has a kid and stuff like that, so they really can't be worked anymore. But a lot of a combination of some of the veterans and a lot of the ones you listed would make a really good division.
Right. And I don't mean like Kelly because she's hot. No, I want legitimate
actual
workers. Okay. So Elisa Fox, the other Bella twin, not Nikki, but Brie. Who's the one not married to Daniel Bryan?
Nikki is Cena's. Nikki belongs to Cena.
Okay, screw Nikki, because Brie at least, she works. She's working with
Hey, Cena
Bryan
fans,
on
do
the
you hear
mic.
this stuff? Oh, sorry, you guys aren't listening to us. We're a podcast for internet fans. Sorry.
You know,
I think
that might be
Medusa.
something, though. I mean, like, if she married Daniel Bryan and learned ring work from him, and Brie marries John Cena and learns ring work from him, then I might say that your decision stands pretty well.
Yeah.
This is true.
I think Medusa, she's a good hand.
Yeah.
Talent.
Yeah, I don't know if she's still active or still working. She's doing a
I don't-
podcast for Russo.
Yeah, I don't think, but I think they, you could easily make her a trainer or come back or.
Yeah, and I think bringing Molly Holly back in, for as great as a decision that would be, you would have to flash a lot of cash. to bring her back because she's very comfortable in her non-wrestling life,
Right.
which is fine.
Right. And, I mean, good for her. More power to her.
Precisely. Molly Holly.
Okay. But realistically here, when we look at GFW, are they even going to have enough money to bring anybody worthwhile in?
Jarrett's got some money and he's got some partners.
He's got
But
Toby
who?
Keith.
They don't. Is it really Toby Keith though? Is that
He's got a board of guys. He had a bunch of the guys that were on
Henry
TNA initially.
Sadler.
I mean, those guys make some pretty good money, and they might not have Bob Carter money or anything, but he's got a lot of connections in the business, and he has a lot of good partnerships right now. I think he's going to make it work.
What's TNA gonna do though? Well, say if they get on another network, they're all right, but they're just. It's almost like they might as well just close and let everybody go. I mean,
like I said, what I think is going to happen is TNA is going to lose Spike, and Jarrett's going to get Spike.
Yeah.
Because Spike likes Jarrett, and they were always a fan of TNA when Jarrett was around.
Spike wants wrestling.
Yeah.
They don't want Dixie Carter.
Right.
Well, TNA currently is not wrestling, so Spike wants GFW.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And there's all these TNA fans on there out in the World Wide Web that say, "Oh, it's getting better." No, it's not. They're bringing in the same old rubbish just to sell tickets in New York, so people will show up. It's not promoting the future, it's promoting the past to sell tickets for the current product. But I think we've pretty much hit the nail on the head tonight.
Right, absolutely. I think we highlighted the people that we would most like to see in this new company.
There's undiscovered talent, and I'm sure there's about 30 or 40 other guys that we didn't mention.
Marty Brown, I think, would be phenomenal.
Yeah, he would be too.
Yeah.
You actually give him that run he never had.
He deserves it.
He does deserve it.
He'd be a great shoot on it. Hey, that'd be Vince Russo's right-hand man, his bodyguard. Oh, I can't wait to book this. We should book week 1 on our next episode.
Oh my God, that'd be great!
I booked WCW if I booked the whole year of WCW that if the Fusion Media would have bought it, I booked it. But yeah, let's book GFW week 1. What would you do? How would you do it?
We got our next podcast.
There you go. There's a lot more to come though. Bunkhouse Stampede and all that good stuff. So,
Jeff Jarrett, take a listen. Build your company. Let's make this work. We need something else out there.
and we need jobs, so hire us. All right.
Right.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you for everybody that participated. Dave, thank you, Jason.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, thank you, Brandon.
Anytime, gentlemen. We do this for you guys. Keep listening, keep watching, share your feedback, share us. Help us make a living. Let's do this. Artists stick together.
We would like to hear your top 5 draft picks for GFW as well.
Please, agree, disagree, send us your picks, send us your reasoning. Let's make it a discussion. We're a podcast for a reason. Let's go back and forth. Let's do this. Good night, guys.
Have a good night.